Well, I heard we're going to be doing some arts and crafts and one very special activity end. So keep watching.
Cool, what is it?
Well, we're going to have to watch to find out.
That's right, Livy. We are going to have some fun activities today, but let's find out what you people have done so far.
Well, I made the 007 bread last week. What about you, Livy?
I made the teddy bear.
Yes, Livy and Nicole already made last week, and also our friends. Monica Cheng's family have made healthy cupcakes. They also made the Chinese pork ribs, and they say that has been in demand daily in their menu. Mirari also made the siomai, and it is so colorful siomai. Rebecca also got a special pop-up birthday card. Happy belated birthday, Rebecca. And we have so many fans of burnt cheesecake. Rennie made the burnt cheesecake. Mateo also made it. Lucy and Claire becomes a mother-daughter bonding activity. And we also have several that made it for Father's Day special. Janet, Julie, and also Nicole, you made one for Daddy, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's so many burnt cheesecake that we need a fireman to put out the fire. And we have Dennis, the fireman, that also have tasted the burnt cheesecake by Mirari. So children, what are we going to do today?
We're going to make some pretty notebooks and one of my favorite things, painting!
We're also going to be doing some clay art. And don't forget the very special activity on the end.
Let's dive in!
Hello, my name is Trish, and this afternoon I want to share with you how to make a simple notebook. I have in front of me a variety of different sizes which you could make, but we're going to concentrate this afternoon on one of these passport size notebooks that I have in front of me, and I specifically want to share with you a number of different ways that you can bind or staple your pages together. So we're going to make a cover and then some inserts to go in our notebook. Let's get started with some of the equipment that you need. You don't have to have anything fancy. Obviously we need some paper and a magazine, scissors, ruler, some glue, a pencil, a stapler, and of course a craft cutter is always handy. This afternoon we're making a passport sized notebook, and I like to have the cover a little bit larger than the pages. I'm going to use a magazine cover for my cover, but you can use some cardstock. And here's a sample of some cardstock. It's about 220 GSM. I also like to use wrapping paper, and you can get so many beautiful pictures or different sorts of wrapping paper. So I like to collect that and have it on hand. And of course, scrapbooking card or paper is always handy. But today's activity, we're just using a magazine. So let's get started. I've got some paper there to lean on. Again, another old magazine. I've already pre-cut my cover out of a Flow magazine. So that was the cover or part of the cover. Our cover is 7 inches or 7.5 inches by 5 inches, which is going to make a notebook half that size. Some pre-cut magazine pictures, lovely bookcase. Just cutting this one with some scissors, just being careful to make sure that we're as neat as we can be. And leaning on our backing sheets, let's get some glue. A glue stick, always handy. And as you can see, I love using lots and lots of glue. Don't want anything not to stick. Change our backing paper and sticking down the first bit of paper onto the cover of our notebook. Trying to make sure that everything's nice and square. And yes, well stuck. And of course the other end, we need to add something. So there's a picture here from the magazine of a kitchen setting, which I thought would complement the bookcase. Again, just some pages and pictures that I liked. Making sure that that's going to fit. Doesn't need to be that large to cover up the bit of space there. This time we'll use the craft cutter as our cutting implement. Makes it nice and easy. And stick it down. Oh, better make sure that it fits. You could cut it later, doesn't really matter. I do both ways. Sometimes I make sure, like I did just then, that it's cut to size before I glue. Sometimes I'll glue and then cut later. Making sure that it's sticking. So there we have it, the front of our notebook. Making sure we're carefully folding it in half. I do this very carefully. We could use the edge of the scissors just to make sure that fold was nice and firm, but because the paper is a little bit damp with the glue, I don't want to rip or tear anything. So just pushing it down. And again, from the magazine, I've already pre-cut and glued on some letters, and I've decided we'll use the notebook label for this magazine, or this notebook this afternoon. I love cutting out letters and collaging them together. I find it quite relaxing. So we'll stick that on the edge or the end. So we've got a nice label for our notebook. Just using the scissors to cut it down a little bit smaller. And more glue. Never have enough glue. And now to add some more pictures to the inside. You don't have to do this, of course, but I just thought it would be nice. I found another nice picture, or a picture that was nice and bold in the magazine, and I thought I'd use that for the inside. Of course, the magazine cover already looked okay, but here we go. Just taking some measurements here. Just want a picture for the back and a picture for the front. Making sure that they're just a little bit smaller than the card, so there's a little bit of a border showing. And of course the craft cutter makes things nice and easy. You just need one mark and line up on the edge of your cutter and slice it. So that will go nicely on the back, and then the front inside cover, the other side. Again, just nice bold colours. And of course you don't have to have or don't have to go to this trouble, but I just thought it would be a bit of fun. And I find it quite relaxing, cutting, gluing, sticking. And just to show you a different way to adhere the magazine page, I'm using some double-sided tape here. I like to use the scissors. You can just tear the tape, but sometimes I make a bit of a mess, so I like to use the scissors. Just again checking our fold, and we'll stick the picture onto the back. Just peeling off the top of the tape. I love this double-sided tape. And just centering it on the back. There we have it. And then the same procedure for the front. Just being careful with the scissors, don't want to cut yourself. So there's our cover with a front design and an inside. I think it looks quite nice. Now for some pages, I just use or I vary the pages inside. Sometimes I use coloured paper, sometimes I use paper sheets from the magazine. But for this afternoon, we're just going to use some lined sheets from an old notebook and some blank sheets of photocopy paper. So I've used a lined sheet and a blank sheet. I've got about 10 or 12 sheets, and when you fold it in half, you've got double that amount. We're going to staple our booklet today, but you could use an elastic band or some string or some ribbon. I'm just using an ordinary stapler with a book at the back, an old book that will take the end of the staples, and then when we turn it over we can just bend those staples across. I do have a long arm stapler that will reach into the centre, but you don't have to have all of those fancy things. And then just using the end, something solid, being careful that you don't prick yourself or cut yourself with one of those staples, because they are very sharp and pointy. So there's our notebook. And the long arm stapler was in the background there. If you have one of those, it's very handy. But like I say, you could use string, elastic bands, ribbon, just to bind your pages, but we've just used some staples. And of course, it's still not finished. I just thought we'd add some more magazine pictures that I had pre-cut, and I found the word contents. I thought that was quite appropriate for the front page, and I also thought I'd stick some little pictures of some little interesting bits and pieces that I found in the magazine onto the pages inside. So there we have our completed notebook, all ready to be used and enjoyed. So I hope you get to create your very own notebook and get to have some fun filling it up. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Steven. Do you want to make an octopus? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make an octopus, and it'll look like this. If you want to make it, let's go into the video. To make our octopus, you will need 3 colors of mentioned type of clay: red, white, and black. Let's start with the head. For the head, take a piece of red clay and roll it into a ball. Take a small piece of black clay and make a flat circle. Press it onto the head. Tear a small piece of white clay and make smaller circles for the pupils. For the mouth, take a piece of red clay and roll it into a sausage shape. Then connect the ends to make a circle, like a donut. The head is done! Next, let's make the tentacles. Take a piece of red clay and roll it into a sausage shape. Do the same thing 3 more times. Stick them together like an 8-sided star like this. Stick the head on the top. Curl the edge of the tentacles. Our octopus is done and ready to swim. You can make anything you like.
Hi everyone, welcome to Midweek Fun. We are the Nicholas. I'm Leo. This is Ella. This is Sam. And that's my wife Julie. Today Ella is going to teach us how to use watercolor.
Do you know that painting can be very relaxing? I especially like this one that Ella made. It says, pray more, worry less. So let's paint, let's pray more and worry less.
Happy painting!
Happy
Happy
painting!
painting, guys!
To do this, we're going to need your watercolor set, a ruler, pencil, eraser, paintbrush. It doesn't have to be a certain type of paintbrush, it can just be a normal paintbrush. The point is that it's usable. And a cup of water, tissues just in case, and paper. The paper doesn't have to be watercolor paper, just find the thickest paper that you have at home. And let's get started. So first we're going to make something like this. To do this, the first step is to take a ruler and line it up against the edge of your paper and just lightly draw a line with a pencil. And you're going to turn the paper and do the same thing. Line it up against the edge and draw another line. And we're going to do the same thing for all the other sides. Okay, so now you should have this grid and there should be a rectangle in the middle. That's going to be the border, like in this picture. So now you can put aside your ruler and we're going to start watercoloring. So first you need to wet your brush. Make sure it's damp, but not too much water, so just dab it against the side of the cup. And I'm going to pick our colors. I'm going to be making a pink colored one, so you're going to need pink, and then you clean your brush and take orange too. And I'm thinking some yellow and purple probably. So now we have our colors ready and we can start painting. You want to plan out a blob of water in the middle of the rectangle. And so you're going to apply your water onto the paper, make it damp, and draw the blob using the water. Just put a lot of water onto the paper so that it will be wet, and so it will be easier to put the watercolor. And once that's done, we can apply the color. I'm going to use pink as the base color, so I'm going to use that first. You can dilute it with the water. And if you need to, you can add more to make it darker. And now we're going to put it where we put the water before. Just dab it onto the paper. Because this is supposed to be an abstract, so it's up to you to put the color. And then you take your water again and you just spread it out. And we can also use orange. I'm going to put it on the paper too, like the pink. You can blend it out with the pink color and mix it. dab into the middle, put splotches of it, and smooth it out with the water. And once that's done, you can move on with the next color, and I'm going to be using the yellow next. So we're going to do the same thing. I don't like to use yellow a lot because it ruins the pink scheme, so I just apply little amounts of it into the middle and smooth it out with the water again. And the last color is the purple. Just going to do the same thing, the exact same thing. And you should wait for it to dry, set it aside. So while waiting for the one before to dry, I'm going to decorate the one that I've made yesterday. So you're going to take an eraser and erase the extra lines that we drew before, so it leaves a rectangle in the middle. Just erase the ones on the side. So you should still be able to see the rectangle in the middle of your page. And now, take the black pen and trace over the lines, but only where the watercolor isn't hitting it. So like here, you can see that it's still on the white paper. And just follow that line, trace it over, and do the same for all the others. You can make them darker. And now we're going to add the quote in the middle. If you want, you can do the same thing like this, where you just use normal handwriting and calligraphy, or you can create your own style and write it the way you want to. I'm going to write keep calm and worry less, maybe, or keep calm and trust God. Yeah. And after you write the words, you can decorate it like I did here. I added stars and planets, but I want to add a little sun. You can add the stars again, little dots, and sparkles. And if you have a white gel pen, you can also use it. And don't forget to sign your name in the bottom. And after the white gel pen has dried, you can take your eraser and erase the lines showing through the watercolor. And it's done. So the other day I also made this bookmark. I used the same technique for this watercolor, but I did it on the whole piece of paper. You can make it like this bookmark that I have right here. For that one, I just used my black pen and I drew another quote on it. After drawing the quote, I added a rectangle. You can also use circles give it like a geometric kind of shape. And random squares and rectangles around it. And then I used my white gel pen and I copied the white square and rectangles, but I moved them a little. And now you have the same thing but on a bookmark. So here are the finished results, and I hope you like them.
Look at this notebook I made, Teacher Nicole.
Wow, it's so pretty.
And I like this Eiffel Tower picture and these clay arts.
Well, this is the notebook that I made. And also, these are also my favorite clay arts. Look, this one can even walk. Wow, that's so cool, right? Livy, don't forget there's still one special activity that I said at the beginning. Let's watch and do it.
Wow, hip hop is an intensive dance and it's a good fun family activities for you guys at home.
Yes, indeed. It is a good exercise for all of us. We want to thank all presenters today for sharing this episode with us, especially for Nadia and Alice teaching us how to do hip hop, Trish to teach us to make notebook, Stephen on the clay arts, and Ella on the watercolor.
With this, we conclude our 6 weeks of Midweek Fun, and we would like to thank you, many parents and children, who have contributed their time, their energy, their effort in making all these cooking, baking, and activities. We also want to thank you, Amanda, Natasha, Philip, and Pa Isaac, who have contributed a lot of their times and effort to make this video available for all of you to enjoy. So please continue to have fun and enjoy at home. And bye-bye!